Hey, this is Mark Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and today's topic is the truth about red meat. Everything we've been told about red meat causing inflammation might be completely backward. For decades, conventional nutrition has vilified red meat as inflammatory, disease causing, and dangerous. This narrative has become so embedded in our cultural consciousness, that questioning it feels almost taboo. But what if the science tells a different story? The inflammation myth. Red meat isn't inflammatory. In fact, it's one of the most uninflammatory foods on the planet. This statement might sound radical, but it's backed by research. Studies show that unprocessed red meat does not increase inflammatory markers. Analysis of research data reveals that higher intake of unprocessed red meat results in no significant change in C-reactive protein, CRP, a key marker of inflammation. The confusion stems from a fundamental misunderstanding about how organisms protect themselves in nature. Defense mechanisms and evolution. Animals and plants have evolved very different defense strategies. Animals can run, hide, bite, kick, or claw their way out of danger. They rely on physical defense mechanisms when threatened. This evolutionary path means they don't need to develop chemical warfare within their flesh. Plants cannot flee from predators. They're rooted in place, literally. To survive, plants have developed sophisticated chemical defense systems over millions of years. These chemicals, often called phytochemicals or anti-nutrients, include oxalates, lectins, phytates, and thousands of other compounds designed to discourage consumption. These plant defense chemicals can trigger inflammation in the human body. Some people tolerate them better than others, but no one is completely immune to their effects. The autoimmune connection. The link between diet and autoimmune conditions has long been suspected but poorly understood. A groundbreaking Harvard study published in 2021 surveyed over 2,000 carnivore dieters with remarkable results. An astounding 89% of participants reported improving or resolving their autoimmune disorders after at least 6 months on the carnivore diet. This isn't a small effect, it's transformative. When people with autoimmune conditions eliminate plant foods, many experience dramatic reductions in symptoms. The theory is simple. Remove the inflammatory triggers and the body can begin to heal. Autoimmune conditions occur when the immune system becomes confused and attacks the body's own tissues. This confusion doesn't happen randomly. It's often triggered by environmental factors, including diet. The carnivore approach eliminates the most common dietary triggers, allowing the immune system to calm down and function more normally. Insulin resistance and metabolic health. Beyond inflammation and autoimmunity, the carnivore diet addresses another critical aspect of health: insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is the precursor to type 2 diabetes and a major risk factor for heart disease, stroke, and numerous other conditions. It's characterized by chronically elevated insulin levels and cells that no longer respond properly to insulin signals. The carnivore diet dramatically reduces carbohydrate intake, which helps lower insulin levels and improve insulin sensitivity. This makes it particularly beneficial for those with metabolic syndrome or type 2 diabetes. In the same Harvard study mentioned earlier, 98% of participants reported improved or resolved diabetes and insulin resistance after adopting a carnivore diet. These results challenge conventional dietary advice for diabetics, which often emphasizes whole grains and fruits while limiting red meat. Okay, real quick. you could please like, subscribe, hit the button if you want to get notified. It really does help the channel, and I would appreciate it greatly. Thank you very much. Okay, the cancer and heart disease question. Perhaps the most persistent myth about red meat is that it causes cancer and heart disease. This belief has been repeated so often that many accept it as an established fact. However, there is no scientific study conclusively proving that red meat causes cancer or heart disease. The studies often cited to support these claims are observational studies that can only show correlation, not causation. Many fail to distinguish between processed and unprocessed meat, or, more importantly, they don't account for the buns, fries, and sodas that often accompany any meat consumption. When these factors are properly controlled for, the evidence against red meat largely disappears. Furthermore, humans have consumed red meat throughout our entire evolutionary existence. If red meat were inherently harmful, we would expect to see evidence of this in our evolutionary biology. Satiety and natural portion control. One of the most practical benefits of including red meat in your diet is its effect on hunger and satiety. Animal protein and fat are the two most satisfying macronutrients for humans. They trigger fullness, hormones that carbohydrates simply don't activate in the same way. This natural satiety leads to spontaneous portion control without hunger. Many people on carnivore diets naturally settle into eating just 1 to 2 meals daily, creating a form of intermittent fasting without effort or discomfort. This contrasts sharply with diets high in carbohydrates, which can lead to blood sugar spikes and crashes that drive hunger and overeating. Distinguishing acute from chronic inflammation. Not all inflammation is bad. This is a crucial distinction that gets lost in many discussions about diet and health. Acute inflammation is a necessary healing response. When you sprain your ankle or cut your finger, the resulting swelling, heat, and redness are signs that your body is working to repair the damage. Chronic inflammation is different. It's persistent, inappropriate, and damaging. It's associated with virtually every major disease, from heart disease to cancer to Alzheimer's. The carnivore diet helps address chronic, inappropriate inflammation by removing dietary triggers while supporting the body's natural healing processes. Is carnivore right for everyone? Well, individual responses to diet vary. Some people thrive on a strict carnivore approach, while others may do better with a modified version or a different dietary pattern entirely. The evidence suggests that those with autoimmune conditions, insulin resistance, or inflammatory disorders may benefit most from trying a carnivore approach. For beginners interested in exploring this way of eating, starting with a simple framework can help. Focus on beef and eggs and other animal products while eliminating plant foods. Some advocates suggest the beef, butter, bacon, and eggs approach as an easy-to-remember starting point. The transition may involve an adjustment period as the body adapts to using fat for fuel instead of carbohydrates. This adaptation typically takes a few days to a few weeks. The bigger picture. The debate about red meat in carnivore diets highlights a larger issue in nutrition science: the tendency to demonize traditional foods while promoting novel industrial products. Humans evolved eating animal foods. Our digestive systems, nutritional requirements, and metabolic processes reflect this evolutionary history. The dramatic rise in chronic diseases correlates not with increased meat consumption, but with the introduction of processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and industrial seed oils. Obesity rates in the 1930s were only 1 to 3%, while current rates approach 42%. This change occurred too rapidly to be explained by genetics. It reflects profound changes in our food environment and dietary patterns. A path forward. The evidence supporting carnivore and low-carb approaches continues to grow, challenging long-held nutritional dogmas. For those suffering from chronic health conditions that haven't responded to conventional approaches, exploring a carnivore diet under appropriate medical supervision may offer a new path forward. The most powerful evidence comes not from studies, but from the thousands of individuals who have transformed their health through this approach. Their stories suggest that what we've been told about red meat and health deserves serious reconsideration. Perhaps it's time to question whether the war on red meat has been misguided all along. I want to thank you for watching. If you have anything you want to ask or a comment, please leave it. And if you have any ideas for what you would like me to cover in the next video, please leave that as well. I will answer all comments. Thank you.